everybody, and welcome back to the Late Night Yap. And today's episode is going to be episode number 13. And we are getting far in our episode. We've also got a new background. I've got a new little setup going here. It's a little bit different from how I had it before, but I think we still have a few adjustments that we want to work with. I'm thinking maybe I could get like a backdrop for the podcast itself and then leave the shelving and all of that for, you know, the Twitch streaming that we're going to do. That way we have like a gaming background, and then we have our podcast background, which is a little bit more, I guess you can say, professional looking. Because I mean, not that it really matters. I kind of like the little vibe that we got going on here, but I did do some little updates here, so hopefully, we're getting things going, and it's good, and we're having fun and all of that good stuff. So now, we started doing stuff a little bit different. I mean, we still kind of doing the same thing, but I've decided to do a specific thing, which is our Yap sessions itself is going to be based on a specific story and not just some random stuff that I have going on in my life, which obviously we'll also share with that too. But pretty much the first half of the videos is our Yap session, and then the second half is our Reddit stories. So if you want to stay for the full episode, you can, or if you just want to listen to Reddit stories, you also can do that too. But if you want to have just the Yap session, we also have that option. I think it's something that's a little bit different, kind of mixed in with the videos, and I really enjoy doing it like this. I really enjoyed the last episode I did too, so I think it would be really good to continue doing this because I really like it. But if you guys, have a different opinion, or like maybe you do like it too, just let me know in the comments. That way I know like what I can do different. And if there's a specific story that you want to hear me yap about, it could be anything. It could be like a news article, it could be a documentary, it could be a movie, it could be anything. Basically, we share our opinions. Obviously, we'll have the facts for the story so that we're not sharing, not facts. But mostly it's just a yap session, how we feel about the story, our personal opinion on the stories, all that kind of good stuff. So the Yap story that we're going to go with today is a story about a singer named David, and his name is spelled D4VD. It's spelled really weird, but it's pronounced David. And the girl that he allegedly possibly could have unalived, named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, getting into the story, I'm going to go ahead and show her face here. That way you guys can see what she looks like. So this is Celeste. She was 14 years old at the time of death that we know of so far. There has not been a forensic coroner report out yet, but just based off the stories, kind of information that we've gotten from TMZ, other TikTokers, and other influencers on the internet, we can that we know specifically at time of death she would have been 14 years old. Now, this story takes place on September 8th when a dismembered body was found in a Tesla 2 days after it was towed. Before the car was towed, the neighbors did call police, and it most likely had sat for about a month before being towed. The specific date that neighbors started complaining would have been August 3rd. Tesla is attached to the singer David. He left for his tour on August 5th. From what TMZ has stated, neighbors were basically saying this car was moving around at some point and then eventually was placed in one spot, and that's what prompted the calls for the car to be towed. It was very dusty, dirty, it didn't look good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the Tesla looked like. Now, this is the Tesla. As you can see, it looks very dusty. It looks very dirty. The neighbors also stated that it had dents in it. The paint was scratched, all that kind of stuff. This specific Tesla, the trunk is in the front, and you can see that here on the photo, and that's where police have found Celeste, was in the front of this car. Now, initially, they obviously didn't know who it was, and they didn't know who the car belonged to. The car was never reported stolen, and this car here specifically, after it was 2 days after it was towed, that the smell was very prominent coming from this car. And if you've ever smelled, like an animal on the side of the road that's passed away, that's a very distinct smell, and it's not something that, it was probably very scary for the tow company. like the people that worked there to just like know that, okay, there's something in this car, we don't know what it is. And then also the police are like, well, we have to figure out what's in this car because obviously it stinks and it smells, really bad. And then come to find out it was a very severe situation at this point because her body was dismembered and placed in a bag in the back of this Tesla. Nobody knows why it was there, how it got there, all of that. So that's one of the things about this case that's really pushed people to be like, well, why is it in this famous person's trunk? Like, why is this car abandoned? Why he abandoned it, I guess, 2 days before he went on his tour for his new album, and his new album called Withered. And he's been, going on this tour for this album. And then all of a sudden, there's this girl in the back of his trunk. Like, what is going on? So, police did report that the body was severely decomposed. They stated the body had a sh tattoo and that she was about 71 pounds when she was found. Now, at this time, on September 8th, they would have found that this girl would have been 15 years old on September 8th. Her birthday is September 7th. So technically she would have been 15, but obviously she passed away when she was 14 years old. Now, once they traced this car back to the singer David, they did let him know, like, hey man, you got like a girl in the back of your car. Like, what's going on? Why is this girl here? They said pretty much that he is in full cooperation with the police and no other comments or statements have been given at this time. He's still, to this day, from September 8th, this is what, September 21st right now, he has not said anything, not a single word about any of this online, nothing public, mostly just to police that we know so far. We also know now that the police has seized and raided the home, so they took all devices. They also took luminol and they were searching, in the drain pipes around the house, in the yard, on the, everywhere that they could have found, that the substance, the red substance, just to see, was she in the home? Did he do it? That's what their speculation is right now, but they don't have a tie. Now, there are a lot of internet sleuths, though, that have found some pretty incriminating evidence. And also, again, this is all alleged. He has not been arrested as of yet. Today, like I said, it's September 21st. I'm recording this Sunday. And so far, he hasn't been arrested. They're basically treating it like a homicide case, but until they get the coroner information and they get the autopsy back, we're not going to know. We're not going to know how long she was there. I personally think that she was there for about a month, just because of the way that it was described, all of the timelines that are adding up to this moment from, a year ago. It just seems like it was about a month that she's had no contact from friends. Now, this girl was reported missing. She was reported missing on April 5th of 2024, which I do have a photo of her missing poster, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that up now. All right, so this right here is her missing poster. So as you can see, it says last seen on 4/5/2024. She would have been 13 years old and she was 120 pounds. And honestly, it really made me very sad whenever the police said that she was 71 pounds when they found her. Now, I'm not really sure if it has anything to do with like the way her body decomposed or if she was actually 71 pounds when she passed, but if she did, that's like almost 50 pounds that this girl lost within a year of her being missing, which is incredibly sad. And obviously, she was being, if that's the case, if it doesn't have anything to do with decomposition and, all that kind of stuff, then, she was obviously being abused. What happened to this girl? Who did it? That's what we need to know, because this is incredibly sad. This girl is so beautiful and she had her whole life ahead of her. And it's just so incredibly sad to see, something like this happen to this girl that, she didn't deserve that at all. And I really do hope that this forensic coroner, whatever, and I really hope that the autopsy report comes back as quickly as they can get it, with it being accurate, because I really want justice for this girl. because what happened to her is just not okay. And when we get deeper into all of the evidence that we have here, you guys will see what I'm talking about. Now, they raided the home. There hasn't been anything else other than that. I mean, TMZ has been pretty much on top of it. TMZ has been a leading source for police right now on this case as well. And there haven't been any leaked photos so far of Celeste in that house that David is renting out in the hills, which I think I also forgot to mention. The Tesla itself was a block away from the house that David is renting, but the actual house is rented under his bodyguard's name and not his name. So pretty much like he rents it out with his bodyguard rents it out, but he has live streams. Like he has a ton of evidence, obviously, that he's been staying in this home. But seeing as the Tesla's still has like a Texas license plate, I'm going to assume that he's still a Texas resident. But that's pretty normal, you know, for celebrities themselves. Like they have rentals in LA and that they live somewhere else, you know. So that's not really, because obviously like he's a celebrity, he's going to want to do collabs, he's going to want to do marketing, and you have to be in LA, which is where everything is pretty much at for that kind of stuff. That's where a lot of celebrities live to get, you know, your collabs and all those things that you really want to do with your content, to kind of like keep going and getting your name out there and all that kind of stuff. So I think that itself is not really the thing that's weird though, is that this Tesla was abandoned but never reported stolen. So that kind of just puts him in a weird spot in itself, because just why? If it wasn't stolen, how does she get into a Tesla? I mean, the Teslas, they're electric cars, and I think you have to have like a key card in order to get into the car. And they also have cameras, and Teslas have apps. And the app on the Tesla, it'll tell you like what time the trunk was open, what time a car door was open, what time it was driven, where it was at. Like the Tesla app will tell you everything about this car. And I'm pretty sure that they can get the mechanics out of this car too to tell. So it's pretty good that they seized everything, because they're gonna figure it out pretty quick. There's no way to just not, like, everything is gonna be recorded data wise. So when they do a data dump, that's it. It is gonna be over, done. They're gonna figure it out pretty fast. But they do need the autopsy back, because they have to have physical evidence to be able to say like that person did it, or to have a warrant to get, you know, an arrest going. So, and since this all has come out, that story itself, David was on tour, like I said. And at first, he didn't cancel his tours, but once the body was identified as Celeste Rivas, the tour was completely canceled. I think he was in Seattle at the time, but he has not yet since been seen in LA at all, or at the place of his, you know, rental residence in LA. Nobody's seen him. Nobody knows where he is. He hasn't said anything publicly. His accounts have been, you know, completely inactive at this time, so we really don't know. His manager hasn't spoken out. Police haven't said another word since pretty much the first day when, you know, they notified everybody about this body. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw this circulating around the news, I had no idea who this guy was. Like I don't even know who he is, how he got famous, like what he was famous for. I just kind of saw this and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I was like, he's a celebrity? Like I've never heard of him before. And then I went on TikTok and I saw a video on TikTok that was playing one of his songs, and they were like saying how like his lyrics sound like a confession. And I was like, wait a second, like I remember hearing this song, and I think he was in the movie like Invincible or something, and one of his songs is like in the movie. And then I was like, wait a second, like this sounds really familiar. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, so I kind of knew at that point. That I was like, okay, so I know kind of who this is, but I don't really know, because I wasn't following him, so I don't really know exactly like his whole career. You know, I wasn't there for the whole thing, but I do remember hearing, because the songs obviously got really popular, so I remember hearing them, but I was never like, oh, I need to listen to this song. It was not on my playlist. Like, I didn't know who this guy was until I was like, oh, that sounded familiar. Like, I remember hearing that in TikToks before, you know, when you have the music goes viral and stuff. Now, since this case had come out, like I said, there has been a lot of rumors going around. There's been a lot of misinformation going around. There's been a lot of digging, a lot of sleuthing, and there's been a lot of things that came up, and people are like completely disgusted. They don't know, like, why would he do this? And these fans are like, no, like this can't be true. It can't be him. Like, how would it be him? Like, this can't be true at all. And it honestly is a pretty big shock because, like, how are you on tour and then you don't cancel your tour? You do this show still. He's crying at this show, playing a song, and one of the songs is called Afterlife. And if you go on TikTok, you can actually find this video. I don't have the video, I only have pictures because I don't want to have any copyright issues with playing videos that have sound on them, and I'm not really good at all this technical stuff yet, so I don't want to get in trouble. But if you see the video, you can look it up. Basically, it's his, the show before it got canceled, the one that he tried to, the one that he continued to do, right? And you see him on stage, he's performing the song Afterlife, and he's crying. He is crying. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song, and okay, so it's on the album Withered, and it's called Afterlife. If you listen to it, after hearing all of the details here, you'll be like, and then why are you crying? Like, it's so weird. It is so freaking weird. I'm telling you, I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. I mean, I have my speculations and my conspiracies, but it's just like crazy. It's crazy. And pretty much that's where I got all my information from, was like, you know, online influencers sharing all of the information they have, TMZ videos that were leaked of both of them together, like he knew her. It wasn't just some random girl in the back of his car, like he knew this girl. And he's known this girl since 2011, I think it was. So they met in 2011, they met online. And there's also a video on the No Jumper page of her, Celeste Rivas, ex-teacher. Basically, that's the teacher that taught her when she had ended up running away and becoming a missing person. He even states that, you know, because he was pretty much stating like the dangers of social media and like meeting people online, and like this is what can happen. It doesn't matter if they're famous, it doesn't matter who they are. Anything can happen. You don't know people, especially on the internet, right? So he was telling like these kids, like, we knew that she met this dude online. He ended up getting famous. She was underage, obviously. I think she would have been 11 years old at the time that she met him, and he would have been 17. So, and they're honestly, even if he was underage at 17, there is nothing an 11-year-old little girl has in common with a 17-year-old boy who's about to be 18 and is already going on in the next chapter of his life, you know, graduating school. Like at 11 years old, you're still in middle school. You haven't even hit high school yet. So she wasn't even a freshman. She was still, you know, like 8th grade. That's crazy. But I did do a lot of deep diving into this little rabbit hole here. So I'm just going to share with you guys what I found and what I screenshot, and it also has all of the creators' usernames. So if you want to search and find the same videos I did, all of the credits have gone to all of the users and influencers and, you know, all the creators that basically have gotten this information. I will say that if you want to listen to a creator who's really good at telling stories, I would say go listen to Derek Branch. He did do a story on this case specifically, and I did watch it today. And he, I mean, he pretty much hit all the points, and he told it like straightforward. Like every single thing he said was everything that I found too. So now this picture that I'm about to show you guys, this picture right here was taken on June 27th of 2024. Now remember, Celeste went missing on April 5th of 2024. So this would have been 2 months after she went missing. On her missing poster, as you can see, what she was wearing was like a black Gap hoodie. She had a black tank top on, and she had blue jeans. And they also stated that she had Hello Kitty shoes on. Now, in this photo here, you can see at the bottom right there that she has Hello Kitty slides. And this girl here, in her face, she looks like Celeste Rivas. And she does have the Hello Kitty shoes on. Now, this is from a TikTok that I screenshotted because, like I said, I don't want to play videos because I don't want to get in trouble. But you can see the TikTok user down here at Lemonberry posted this video basically stating like the dates of when this photo was posted. This was on June 27th, 2024. That timeline is very important because at this point, she is a missing girl. Like, she's a missing person, and her family doesn't know where she is. Now, the background to the whole missing person scenario that's going on here, from what I figured out, is that she's went missing 3 times. So she's ran away from home, and then her parents report her as a missing person. So the first time she ran away from home was to run away with the guy David. And there are photos online that the friends of Celeste have of him paying the friends off to keep quiet about their relationship, basically. Which is insane, because why are you paying off little kids to keep your PDF file freaking secret, dude? Like, that's crazy. And there's also another text from Celeste's sister alleging that, you know, or one of Celeste's friends alleging that her sister might have been pimping her out, all that kind of stuff to this guy. We don't really know the truth. We only know that the family knew that she had run away with this guy the first time. How this 13-year-old, because at the time she was 13, how she got a tattoo is beyond me. I don't know. The parents obviously knew what was going on. Now, the second time she ran away, she went and stayed with cousins, supposedly, from what the family has stated. And then the third time she ran away was, again, to be with David. Now, at the time, she would have been 13, and David, I think, would have been 19, if I'm not mistaken, around this time. But the dude that's in the photo with her where she's going backstage, this is David's brother. So obviously she knows the family too. Like, this is not just some random chick. You know, she is like knows these people since I think it was 2021. That's when they first met, because David got famous. See, I'm getting confused here. David got famous in 2022. So he's known Celeste Rivas since 2021. Sorry. Let me correct myself, because I did not say the right thing. Anyways, she's known these people since 2021. Like, this is not random people for her. This is people that she's known for a couple of years now and has obviously been around for a while. Now, obviously, this would have been the last photo I think that we have of her alive. I don't have any other photo that I know of where she would still be alive in these photos, because those photos were from before, and a lot of them that were leaked are from a Discord chat from 2024, which would have been like before she went missing and after she went missing. So, you know, this would have been really like the last time on camera that we saw her alive. Her friends have stated that they did keep in contact with her through a burner account, and pretty much that account, they hadn't heard from her since August. Now, like I said with the timeline before, they towed the car August 3rd. David went on tour August 5th. And then this girl stopped talking to her friends around August. And everything goes completely blank. And they can't figure out where she is, what happened to her, if she's okay or not. Obviously, when they saw in the news, they realized, like, okay, that's what happened to her. And because of that, that's why all of these kids are now coming forward and being like, look, we didn't know that this was like, a lot of the people in the Discord thought this girl was like 18, 19. They didn't know that she was so young. And I think the biggest issue here and why everybody is getting so confused is because there is a second Celeste. There's 2 of them. There's not just one. There's 2. So we have Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and then we have Celeste Herrera. There's 2 different girls, and I have a picture of the other girl, so I'm going to show that to you guys now. So this is Celeste Herrera, the girl that is on the bottom right. Not the girl in the middle, but the girl on the bottom right. You can see her name, her Instagram is tagged there. She's also recently made her Instagram private, and she's also put not that Celeste and her age, which is 23. Now, obviously you can see that this is David here in the middle. That's the artist. And then his friends that he makes music with is on the left. And this girl right here, now, Celeste Herrera is the girl that he is publicly dating as of now. So this is his now girlfriend. The issue, though, is that if you look at the very top, you can see this photo says that it was taken on or, posted June 28th of 2024. That's what this photo is dated. That means that this photo was taken the day after Celeste Rivas was going backstage with David's brother. So does she know her? I mean, she had to have known about her if she was around at the same time that she was back then in 2024. I mean, a year ago. I mean, she would have been around to know who this girl is, right? I mean, that's just kind of a weird coincidence, I think, that this girl wouldn't know who she is. And there's one song in particular of David's that if you, I mean, you can look it up and there is videos with it, but he talks, it's like in the music video, he's putting somebody who has been unalived in the trunk of this car and there's two people. And then he says something along the lines is like, if I won't tell, then you won't tell either. So is there an accomplice? It was obviously two people that did this. This wasn't just one person. And he's been kind of what people are describing as confessing in his music videos. So, and I'm honestly, like I said, this is like the day after that photo of her was posted. So it's just kind of like an awkward timeline here. Like, obviously, she knew Celeste Rivas. Like, this is not, like, I just don't understand. Now, obviously, when arrests start getting made, and information starts coming forward, people are going to start talking nobody wants to go down. Everybody's going to start talking eventually, so we are going to get the truth eventually, hopefully, because this girl deserves the truth. She deserves people to know what happened to her. Now, honestly, I don't know when these two publicly started dating in general. It's just the coincidence. The coincidence is absolutely insane here. Like, it's not one thing, it's two things, it's everything. The entire art, all of it. It's all just like, what? Like, what is going, you know what I mean? And the reason why like people know who that girl is because she has been tagged, because she is tagged in photos with David at like celebrity parties as well. Now, again, I'm only talking about this because this story is absolutely insane to me. And I just, this is just one of those stories that just has you like, wait a second. And then you start deep diving into it, and then you get like hooked and you're like, I need to know more. Like, I need to know what exactly is going on and why, like, what happened to this girl. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into the leaked Discord chats from 2022 and 2024, which I think the moderator actually is the one who leaked these Discord chats. And if you don't know what Discord is, it's like a public forum where people can talk to celebrities or like their fans or like in general, like a lot of Twitch streamers use it. I mean, people use it for other things too, but that's pretty much like the basis of it here. But this screenshot specifically I got from a video. Her name is T Spiller on TikTok. So if you want to go watch her videos, I think she has like a 4-part series on the case as well that she talks about, and like and she does provide like the videos and stuff and like all of the lyrics and everything like that on her video. But pretty much here it says, David replies to the chat and says, I'm in a song crisis right now. And this was on 8/15/2024. So this would have been, but she went missing April, May, June, July, August. So this would have been 4 months after she went missing. And it says, drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And that's what was posted here. Now, again, I can't really tell you guys like if this is real or not, because a lot of these Discord chats, I mean, they could have been edited by AI, because that was very specific that they knew her name, that she was missing, and also that he had a song with her name in it. But because there's two Celestes here, that's where things kind of get like mixed up and confused. Because from what I've read so far, and just kind of like where did this all like begin? Like what, like how did this even happen? So David got famous posting online in 2021. He initially was a Twitch streamer and he was streaming Fortnite, but he was experiencing copyright issues with the music that he was playing in the background. And that led him to make his own music, which he posted on TikTok and ended up going viral in 2022. And then he moved from Texas to LA at the end of 2022 in order to sign with a label, and then, you know, on so forth. Now his music is very prominent, very viral on all platforms. I think he has like 3 million followers on TikTok as well. The weird thing about the residence that David is basically like renting out, like his bodyguard rents out for him or whatever the situation is, that but obviously he lives there. That's like his place in LA that he stays in. It's just weird to me because this house that they found the abandoned Tesla is only about an hour drive from where Celeste Rivas and real that lives and her family lives, which is I think it's Lake Elsinore in California. And that's where her family lives and where she went missing from. And the house is about, like I said, it's about an hour drive from there. So I don't know. I mean, it just keeps getting like, it just keeps going and going. Like the information just keeps coming and coming. And you're just like, what? And there is another Discord chat, though, that does look very real. And basically, David in his chat, because he was very like vocal in this Discord chat, and he had like a cult like following in this Discord chat. And basically he says into the chat like, "Hey, is Celeste in here?" And then she goes, "Hey, David Bark." And then that's where it goes on. But there's also videos of them together on the Twitch streaming, and it is Celeste Rivas. You can tell the difference between the two girls. They do have their similarities from like a first glance. If you look and you're just like, wait, that could be her, you know, in like a video that may not be too clear, or like from, you know, behind or whatever, like you could be like, oh my gosh, like that could be her. They do have differences and you can kind of tell those differences. And in that video, which again, you can find these videos the same way I did, they're everywhere. She is in the video with him, and basically in this video, David is saying something to her like, I trained you to be a social media person, like something about like, I trained you. And then she goes, oh, something about graping kids. And then he mutes the feed, and then they all go, okay, bye, bye. Like, we got to go now, bye. And then he tells all of his moderators to delete the video and get rid of it immediately. So she's kind of like calling him out in a way. So I don't really know what exactly. I wish this girl was still here so that she could tell her story if she was being abused by these people. Like, I really want to know what the heck is going on here. Now, like I said, he has an unreleased song, and in that Discord chat where they say, oh, you should release the song about the missing girl, this is the lyrics to that song that they were talking about. It's called Celeste. And again, there's two Celeste. And when one of them is his current public girlfriend, obviously Celeste and him had a relationship, you know, privately, and because she was underage and he's, you know, famous and he doesn't want people to know that he has a relationship with this girl, right? So it goes, oh, Celeste, the girl with the name tattooed on her chest, smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed, oh, Celeste. Afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because, and then it goes into the chorus of I love you so much. But what's also interesting to me is that in December of 2024, David released a song called Where Did It Go Wrong? And that was the first single to be added to this Withered album. And if you look at the Withered album itself, and I do have a picture of that, so let me go ahead and put it up here so you guys can see. That's David, and that is the album's, you know, like track cover. There's also another one, but that's like one that really stuck out to me because he's got these white roses all around him. And I looked up the symbolic meaning of white roses, and it basically says like at funerals, white roses can honor the departed, signify spirituality, and offer a message of hope for the future. And there was also a song that he had out as well called Romantic Homicide. And that song came out. Let me see, what day did that song come out? So the song Romantic Homicide was released in 2022, but he released the music video for it on September 7th. And there's a few TikTokers that have figured out that he has released a song every year on September 7th, her birthday, like a music video. And it's like telling the story of like this character that he made up, which I think is called Itami. And this character he also has at his concerts and his tour that he's had. And there's also like a casket at this concert, and you can see here like, and you have fans like signing like a little book or something, basically like giving condolences. And he also, there's a video that I saw where he tells like who this character Itami is, which I forgot what it means, but it means something in Japanese. And he's saying basically this is like his alternative personality, and this person is like unaliving people, and then he's like the detective like trying to figure it out. And this whole story is basically like him telling a story of like what he did and like what happened, or this to this girl that he allegedly could have unalived, which a lot of people are speculating at this point like, yeah, he did it. And I also looked up the album itself, Withered. If you look at the album, all of the songs in order from like the first to last song. So the first one is called Atomic Land. The second one is named Sky. You Left Me First, Say It Back, Friend Again, Somewhere in the Middle, Crashing. And this is a song with Kylie Uchis. I don't know how to say her name. Kylie Uchis. And she actually took this song off. Like, she deleted the song. She was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't know him personally. I just did a song with him because this whole, like I said, this whole album is very dark and like disturbing. And this girl is obviously dead. So Kali Uchis did take her song off with him. She doesn't want it on there anymore. Invisible String Theory. Is this really love? Where did it go wrong? Feel it. What are you waiting for? One more dance, Ghost, and then, like I said previously, Afterlife. And he was, before he had canceled this concert, that was one of the songs he was singing and he was crying to. So another like thing is like Celeste was very into Hello Kitty, and David has a Hello Kitty profile picture on Instagram right now as well. And then the other thing that I want to get into that I was like, this really stuck out with me the most is the fact that Celeste Herrera and Celeste Rivas both have very similar names, and they kind of look similar to each other. I mean, in a little bit of a way, there is a bit of resemblance. Like I said, they're pretty easily to get confused. Now, if you look at this picture here, you can see this is what Celeste was wearing on her missing persons photo. And then the girl below is Celeste Rivas, because there's also a video going around of her in like a live stream, and David, you can see, is trying to like pull her like out of the stream and telling her to like get out of the camera. She is wearing Celeste Rivas' jacket. Now, going back, we know during the time of the concert in 2024, they were both there at the venue taking pictures in like with David. So he obviously knew who this girl, she knew who this girl was. So whether they were dating or not, I mean, obviously they had like some sort of relationship. The Rivas and also Herrera, they have a relationship. Like, was he dating both of these girls at the same time? Was one jealous of the other? Like, did she help him, unalive this girl? Like, she knows who that is, and she's wearing a black tank top. She's wearing the hoodie, and I think she had jeans on. She's literally wearing the exact same thing that she wore, and that is like so disrespectful. And she has her Instagram private. She doesn't want to say anything. She wants nothing to do with it. Like, babe, you already know you're gonna get dragged into this. There's gonna be evidence against you too. Like, a lot of people are saying like, oh, like, she's just a lookalike, and like, I think she's a part of it. And I think it's really weird that she's wearing, like, why are you wearing her clothes? And the jacket, like, why are you wearing the jacket? Like, where did you get that jacket from, girl? Tell me, I want to know. I need to know. Now, again, like I said, looking into this, it's really hard to determine the truth. there's a lot of rumors out there too. Like again, these two girls were getting confused and people thought like, oh, that's her, and then it wasn't really her, and it was just like really confusing. But when you started figuring like it's two girls, like there has to be some sort of answer here. And then his whole album is just so creepy and like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Now, a lot of people are saying that their conspiracy is that Celeste, a lot of people are saying their conspiracies, which one of them is that Celeste Rivas was pregnant and David, didn't need anybody to know that she was pregnant, so he unalived her because of that. There's also messages back and forth between like her friends and her stating like she wanted to come back home. She wanted him to take her back where she belongs, but he wouldn't let her leave. I think obviously she was being abused if she was, 120 pounds and all of a sudden she's 70 pounds when being found a year later. Like she was obviously being abused. So I do kind of agree with one of those conspiracies that he obviously like he didn't want her to leave. He didn't want people to know about their relationship. In one of his songs, he also talks about waiting 7 years. And at the time that they met in 2021, she would have had to wait 7 years in order to turn 18. So I don't know if maybe Celeste Rivas, or Celeste Herrera is maybe a cover up, or if she's just kind of like the stand-in girl, or he unalived the other one and then he was like, well, I need a replacement. But it's just so odd to me. Like, what are the chances that you're getting famous, you're going viral, and then you have two girls with the same name who look almost identical to each other in, certain ways, at first glance? Like, how, like, that is so odd. That is so odd. And for me, being like a conspiracy theorist, personally, I think she was sacrificed, but that's just my opinion because that's how Hollywood is and everybody knows it. But that's a conspiracy and it may not be true, so don't come for me. But I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist and there are some pretty crazy things that go on in Hollywood. You didn't hear it from me. Don't come for me. So, but what do you guys think? What do you think about that? I don't know, man. I'm ready for the coroner's report. I want to know the truth. I want to know when she died. I want to know how, what they did to her. I want justice for her. Rest in peace to this beautiful girl, honestly. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show her face one more time so that you guys can see it before we wrap up this video here. That is Celeste. Rest in peace, Celeste, and I hope that your story, the truth, comes out sooner or later. You deserve justice, girl. You're so beautiful and you did not deserve anything that happened. Like the home life, all of it. Like the parents obviously knew, and a lot of people are really pissed off at the parents as well because they obviously knew what was going on and that this girl was being abused. Like it's just so sad. But hopefully again, like I said, we get the truth and figure out what happened to this girl. Like my mind is just it's crazy. But now that our Yap session is over, that story has come to an end. That is all the information that we have so far. I don't have any other information. That's everything. But if we get any new details, I'll probably, I'm gonna obviously update and we'll talk about it together after the new details come out. But as of right now, this just it's just crazy. But now we are going to move on to our Reddit stories, and I ironically chose to do toxic relationships for this episode. I think it kind of fits into like what we're doing. I don't want to be insensitive or like in any type of way, but it does kind of fit like a little bit of a theme that we have going here. And I think honestly it's an important topic, abusive relationships in general, especially with people that you meet on social media. I mean, there's so many things that could have gone, and obviously this is the worst of them. But I think it's important to talk about the hard things and things that maybe make you a little bit uncomfortable because it can help somebody else down the road. Like, okay, so there is a solution here. Like, I can get help, or there are places for me to go. Like, I don't have to stay I can leave, I can get out. And I think that's like really important to talk about. So, and I think in some of these stories they do have like where they talk about in the comments like how to get out, like what to do and all that kind of stuff. So, if you are somebody that is in an abusive relationship, please know that there are hotlines, there are, and I'll list some down in the link below. I'm from Florida, so a lot of mine might come from Florida, but there are women's shelters, there are places for you to go. They take children, they take dogs, they will help you find a job, they will help you get on your feet. Like, you don't have to stay. And yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, these people are dangerous. And you never know what can happen. You never know how they might be. I mean, there are stories where, they set the house on fire, all that kind of stuff too. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel so bad. And from women, they say it's not all, but it's always, right? So, but let's go ahead and get into our Reddit stories. My husband, 31 male, and I, 27 female, have been sitting in silence since he got violent 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow is our anniversary, and I don't know what to do. Hi everyone, I don't know where else to turn right now. I, 27 female, and my husband, 31 male, have been together for several years, married for a while, and tomorrow is our first date anniversary. But instead of celebrating, I'm heartbroken and stuck in silence. 2 weeks ago, we had a fight. I was upset with him after a string of little things that broke my heart, and instead of talking it through, he escalated in a way that terrified me. He kicked me while I was in bed under the sheets, poured a milkshake all over me and the bed because I had an attitude and didn't want to drink it, hit me and told me he hated me, and then stormed out. Since then, he hasn't apologized. No, I'm sorry. No acknowledgement. No accountability. Just silence. We sleep in separate rooms. The only gesture he's made are buying or cooking food a couple of times, but we eat separately. Lately, he's been trying to casually text me, mostly about just our financial stuff. When I told him that he needs to apologize first, his response was, I'm not the only one who needs to apologize. He's basically saying he'll never apologize unless I also admit fault. Tomorrow's our anniversary, and instead of feeling joy, I feel crushed. I keep remembering our first date and the vision I had of a life with him, and now I'm stuck in silence with someone who refuses to take responsibility. I can't wrap my head around that. Yes, I was upset with him and I had some attitude because he hurt my feelings, but nothing I did justifies being kicked, hit, and humiliated. I don't think I owe an apology, but that's in any way equivalent to what he did. For context, he struggled with anger before, got therapy, and has done better for a while, but now it feels like we're going back to square one. Is it time to accept that my marriage might be really over? The first comment says, he is 100% an abuser. Get out. It's not your attitude. It's him, and he can't even apologize because he doesn't believe he did anything wrong. That's the biggest problem. He will continue abusing you and then blame you for causing it. Make it a new anniversary to a new life. Honestly, yes, because you are wasting your time, girl. Now, at first, when you're telling the story, like, I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. This is not right. That is abuse. Like, having a milkshake poured on you. Now listen, I'm I don't condone violence necessarily, okay? I don't really condone it. But if somebody disrespects you, like if somebody puts their hands on you, you know what I'm saying? Like like you gotta fight back. I was taught, okay, in school, and if somebody puts their hands on you, you hit him back. You know what I'm saying? But in this situation, that doesn't really work. Don't put your hands on a man that's already put his hands on you because it will escalate it to something that you don't want it to. I would try to get out silently so that he doesn't know that you're leaving, because if he finds out that you're leaving, it's gonna piss him off even more. And he's not gonna have any control anymore. So he's gonna do anything he can, and I mean, like I said, we just heard the other Yap story. These men are dangerous, I'm telling you. It's not funny anymore, you guys. This is getting serious. Now, when you started saying here where you said, when you started going into like, well, maybe it was kind of my fault, there is nothing that you should do that should trigger a man to put his hands on you. Ever. That is the wrong response. And this is not the first time it's happened, and it's not going to be the last. And honestly, a lot of narcissists, they will make you second guess yourself. They will make you think, well, am I really crazy? Am I really what they say I am? Like, was I? Because that's called gaslighting, and they do that, and they'll keep doing it in order to make what they did, and that's like kind of like narcissistic behavior in a little bit of a way, because then every one of you are like, they're always right, everything's always about them. A lot of times they try to ruin big events like anniversaries, birthdays, special events, family events. They'll piss you off in the car, and then when you get there they act all, oh hi, to everybody's face, and then you're sitting there like, you fake. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's like, well, why are you so angry? Like, he's such a nice person, like, why, like, he would never do that. And it's like, yeah, because they put on a face to other people so they make him not look like they're gonna be like that, but then they really are, and you're like, yeah, I think it's time to end your relationship. The rose-colored glasses have been taken off, and it is time to go. But we are going to go ahead and move on to our second story, and this one's called I'm Tired of Asking Him for Help to Take Care of Our Child. And when I first read the title of the story, it kind of resonated with me a little bit, and it's something that I think it was really important to read. So she did post a text thread with them, and I mean, the guy does call her the B word and is being like completely irrational. But anyways, let's go ahead and read the story. I, 32 female, am really feeling it today. The anger I feel when I think of how I settled to be with this man, 35 male. I thought he loved me all the years that we'd been together, but he doesn't and he never will. We've been separated for 6 months now, but I fed into this regressive behavior when he asked to move back with me and my daughter in this past June. He had been living with his mother and her family. He said he's looking for a place, and now because he's working a part time job, during the weekdays, I guess he no longer has the shared responsibility of helping our 5-year-old daughter with her bedtime routine. Okay, so let me just backtrack here. So he moved out, you guys split 6 months ago. Then he asked to move back in with you and your shared daughter. And he was living with his mother previously, and you said now he's been looking for a new place because he's working a part-time job during the weekdays. So did he not have a job when he was living at his mom's house? I mean, this guy already sounds like a bum. I just needed to clarify that because, girl, that is a full-on couch bum. He lives in his mom's basement and he will forever, girl. He in a part-time job at 35 years old, baby, you ain't got no career. Come on now. Like, what are we doing? I mean, I get shit happens, but like, I don't know. I don't know. But that is true. A lot of men think that once they make money or they pay like a bill in the house or they do whatever this and that, they think that they're exempt from the child care, and maybe that's not how it works. But anyways, I regressed when he says I don't care, because what grown man says that? I don't get breaks when I'm cooking dinner during the week, working full time, taking her to school, picking her up, and the invisible load list that goes on. I'm tired of reminding him of his responsibility when he had no problem lecturing me on accountability all the years I stayed with him. I just really needed a place to vent. The first comment says, here's the thing I find interesting. Guys like this are a dime a dozen and they are everywhere. Yep. But you will also hear universally from men to not date single mothers. I swear, women are straight up gaslit by society to believe that we're the problems. With my kid's father, I had to accept that he was completely unreliable and not force my children in the position where they could possibly be abused in some way by the man that hated me. He does not see his kids as his, he sees them as an extension of you, and he will treat them that way, trust me. He is already through choosing, he is already through choosing He is already choosing to be ignorant of their care. A second comment says, oh, honey, I get it. I was there. You'll feel much more capable when he isn't sucking your energy out. My 3-year-old and I have some tough days together when I'm certainly not myself, but we still But we still, at the end of each day, in bed together in our moldy basement of a room. That's the best we have right now. Luckily, I always wake up to a better day, even with those conditions, because there's no one there to get me in my way of living right. OP did reply and said he's literally sucking the energy out of enjoying the house to myself. I'm ready to just focus on being completely single and protecting my peace. Now, I'm going to just say for a moment here, before we get into the next story, I see this a lot. I see this a lot. And there's so many people on the internet that are quick to be like, oh, well, you know, you need to pick the right guy. Like, be more selective, be more careful, be this, be that. And it's like, but we are, though. A lot of us are very picky. A lot of us are very selective. A lot of us date certain way, or certain people look for certain things. We have affirmations, we write stuff down. We know what we're looking for. We get a man, we think, "Oh, this is going to be it. He's the one. This is the guy, blah blah blah." And then all of a sudden, you have a kid with him and he completely flips a 360 and you're like, "This is not the man that I knew. This is not the man I had kids with. Who is this man?" And honestly, it could happen to anyone. It could happen to men or women. Sorry, my back hurts, so I'm kind of like moving around a lot, and I apologize. I have very bad back pain a lot of the times, so I have to move around every now and then because like my neck and my back, and they just get really, my neck and my back start hurting. And I've been sitting here for like an hour now, so I'm just kind of like usually what I'll do is I get up and stretch and then I record the next part, of the video after I've stretched, but and I'm hitting the camera. Anyways, what I was saying, right. So, and a lot of the times, like, women are very picky, and it's not always the women's fault. Like, we always blame the women. Like, oh, you didn't choose right, or oh, you did this, or you did that. And it's like, it's not our fault. Like, why are you holding me accountable of somebody who literally, they hid a whole personality from you for like years? And a lot of times, like with people in general, like you don't really know who they are until they show you like their true color. And this happens a lot, and it could be like during a huge family event. Maybe somebody passed away, like a best friend or a family member or a parent. It could be, having a kid. A lot of times when you have a kid with someone, you kind of really find out who they are. It usually starts out around the time when the baby is an infant and it's crying and doesn't sleep through the night and needs to be fed every 2 hours. And, before they're like, oh, like, we'll tag team it, if the baby doesn't sleep, like, you do your shift, I do my shift, and then sorry, I'm just like you do your turn, I take my turn, and then we'll all both take turns like getting sleep or whatever, blah blah blah. And then that turns into, well, I have to work tomorrow. It's not fair to me. And then you have to go to the other room and try to keep the baby quiet all night by yourself so they can have, their rest for work tomorrow. And then they get home and they go to sleep. They don't make you dinner. They don't figure out what's for dinner. They don't help make bottles. They don't take the baby. They don't even acknowledge the baby. They don't say anything. They just go sit on, plop on the couch, take a shower, do whatever they want. Like, you have to ask permission to do things now because you have this whole child, and a lot of the times the in-laws are just as bad as they are. It's like you wonder where we get it from. Your mother. Your mother made you like that. And then you have to deal with the mother-in-law because she don't like you because that's her incestual son that she made her like dream husband for her. So then you got to deal with that, and it's like like it's never ending. And then they blame us. They blame us and they say, "Oh, it's the lady that just had a baby. It's her fault." Like, I got stitches all the way up to my asshole, babe. Like, I don't, what the fuck? Like, I can't even get off the couch, can't walk, I can't do anything. And then you have people, they have C-sections too, and it's like, stop, like, like, these women are being abused postpartum for real. I'm telling you, it is so sad. And it's not the women's fault. It's not your fault that he's like that. And unfortunately, yeah, he is a bum, and you gotta let that man go. Let that man go. He doesn't serve any purpose to your life at all. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next story. My boyfriend, 37 male of 3 years, insisted I, 33 female, fly down to Mexico only to end up abandoning me. I'm going to try to make this short, but it's a lot. I'm having an absolute anxiety attack. 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend, 37 male of 3 years, insisted I, 33 female, take a week off work to fly down to Mexico because he really wanted vacation time. He was there already surfing and is going to be there for months, apparently. I was hesitant to go. I feel Mexico is dangerous and I have essentially no experience with international travel and I can't speak Spanish at all. Well, listen, all you have to say is me llamo, whatever your name is, and mi poquito español. 'Cause, baby, I don't really know. I don't know Spanish like that either. I only know a few things because my son, he's part Puerto Rican, and so I teach him, a few words. And one of the words that we learned was apesta. So every time somebody's, like he goes, "Oh, mommy, apesta," or he knows like puño. Like those are our words. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all you got. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say is unless you're talking to a Puerto Rican, they're gonna be like, "Oh, un poquito, okay." Brrrah! And you're gonna be like, "Damn, Bad Bunny! Like I didn't know that we were going like that. Like, baby, I said un poquito, not un mucho. Like, what do you mean?" But I don't know. Mexicans probably be like, "Oh, okay, this is a gringo. She don't know what the fuck she's talking about." we got the gringa, okay? Because baby, I don't know. My mom is Brazilian and Italian, so and Brazilians they speak Portuguese. They don't even speak Spanish. And Latin Spanish and Hispanic Spanish are two different Spanishes. And Puerto Rican Spanish is its own freaking language in itself. So I don't really know what to tell you. Like, get a translation app at this point because you said he abandoned you. I'm just trying to give you some options for him abandoning you because that's the only way you're gonna get back without like I don't know. But usually I think in Mexico, like the tourist part of Mexico, like as long as you don't get away from the tourist part, but even then, like just don't stray away by yourself. Like stay with the people or enough people where you're in like the vicinity of being seen. But anyways, I've also been oh my gosh. This story just took a huge turn. Wait a second. She said I've also been kidnapped by a total stranger before on rideshare, and it was really bad all over the news, nationally and internationally, years of therapy. So I'm very focused on being safe. Oh my gosh. Wait, OP? Oh my gosh. Jeez, man. He wasn't inviting me to a typical tourist area, but in an area I've never heard of. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even go. Maybe just break up with this man and be like, have fun, bro." Because, girl, you gotta protect your peace and yourself. You've already been kidnapped. I mean, jeez, man. It's crazy. I was persistent. Oh, and by the way, about the rideshare thing, I don't really know. I know about Uber. I don't really know what rideshare is, particularly like how it works, but there is a guy on TikTok that makes videos for girls. So like he'll pretend to be like your dad or like your boyfriend or whatever, and he like says on the phone and then you have to like say it back and then he'll answer. But it's like a recording. So that way whoever the driver is knows that like there's a man waiting for you at somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So that way you're not by yourself. So just so that you ladies know, if you're ever out late or whatever and you get like Uber or a Lyft or something, definitely look that guy up on TikTok because his videos do they work. And I think there's a few of them, but there's one guy in particular that does it, and he's been doing it for a while. So yeah, just be safe out there. I was persistent in having him tell me where we'd be staying. He told me a very nice all-inclusive resort 2.5 hours from the airport and sent pics. I told him I wouldn't get on the plane without assurance that he would be picking me up and not forcing me to ride with a stranger, and he initially told me that he could have his buddy, his friend knows, pick me up. Let me add my boyfriend had a rental car and was capable. He agreed and promised he'd be there to get me. Everything went to hell when I landed. Text came in and he informed me that he had just got done surfing and I'd have to find a person to drive me to the resort 2.5 hours away. It took me 45 minutes and $200 with the language barrier to get a taxi to this resort. I was very upset, all because he preferred to surf instead of making sure I was picked up. So I'm at this resort and obviously I'm pissed, but I let it go so I can enjoy it. I'm not there for the 24 hours. I'm not even there for 24 hours and didn't get to lay on the beach before he comes running down to where I am and tells me that I need to pack back up. He informed me that we're going back to the city and that I had just oh my gosh. He informed me that we're going back to the city that I had just flown into that was over 2.5 hours away, that he didn't like the resort and the surfing was better in this other city. I was livid. He assured me that there were hotels just as beautiful and comfortable that we would stay in. He said that if I didn't go with him, he was just going to leave me at the resort and after a few days would send a cab to bring me back to the city 2.5 hours away. I didn't fly all the way down to Mexico to stay alone, so I went with him. We went to the resort and it was anything but nice. It's in a part of town I certainly don't feel safe walking in. There's no pool, there's nowhere to lay on the beach, that's a chair. Oh, there's nowhere to lay on the beach that's on a chair. The beach was very dirty, buggy, with construction everywhere, so I didn't want to just lay on a towel. There's a lot of signs that say people couldn't swim in the ocean because of rip currents being strong, and it was basically just for surfers, so I couldn't even swim. Naturally, I was just really upset and tried my best to let it go. We stayed there one night, and the next morning, before I could even get up to brush my teeth, he went in on me. He was so upset that I wouldn't have spicy sleep with him, but I wasn't in the mood and I was really depressed, and he just didn't care. He demanded to know what was wrong with me, and I simply told him I just wasn't happy at this resort and I didn't feel comfortable. I begged him to check us into the resort down the road that we were having breakfast and dinner at. He refused to compromise. He then started in on me and again just kept verbally attacking me. Finally, I had enough, and I informed him that I was going to the cafe across the street. I asked him for his hotel lock code and to let me know that I was making separate accommodations at a hotel I felt more comfortable at, and he would be back in 20 minutes to get my suitcase. He refused to give me the code. He told me he would have me on the next flight out and I better be ready when I got back to the airport. I had already searched for every possible flight out, so I knew that there weren't any until Saturday. He was just being nasty. He told me I wasn't welcome back in the hotel, so if I left, I better bring my suitcase with me and good luck because I didn't even have any pesos. I ended up dragging my suitcase 20 minutes down the street to the more comfortable hotel and checked in there. I never ended up telling him which hotel I was going to, and he didn't bother to even try contacting me until 3 hours later. He made an assumption, and a correct one, that I was staying at the place that we were having breakfast and dinner at. He asked the reception if I was there, and they confirmed I was staying there, as well as telling him my room number. He ended up getting absolutely hammered on adult beverages and illegal substances from the pharmacy and showed up at my room around midnight. He said so many nasty things to me, was so loud, inebriated, and refused to leave, so I had to have security escort him out of my room for fear of both of us being kicked out. The next day, he apologized and asked me to dinner. I knew it probably wouldn't go well, but I agreed. He ended up getting absolutely hammered again, and this time stood in my room doorway and told me that he was going to ruin my life and destroy me, that I haven't even seen Nasty yet, and I made him leave. The next day, he apologized, but after this apology, he told me that it was my fault that I pushed him to say all those things and I forced him to reach his breaking point because of all of my bitching. I have been alone in this hotel for 4 days now, and the worst vacation of my life, physically, mentally, and financially drained. And he's completely unfazed that he has left me in this situation and treated me this way. He's been surfing every day with his friends because he actually knows some guys here and is treating me like dirt. It's finally Saturday, and I leave in 3 hours, and he has almost made me feel like I am deserving of this. I feel crazy because I know I'm absolutely not. My family and friends have been so worried and working overtime to comfort me and constantly remind me that this isn't my fault and it's not normal, and a man that loved me would never do this to me. Surely I'm not out of line. I feel like the basic things I've asked for, including respect, are all really understandable, but he's really manipulated me into thinking I'm crazy. And there is an update here, and she says, "Let me clarify, he is now my ex-boyfriend." You go, girl. Ex-boyfriend, yes. Because he is trash. And I'm on the first flight home. It's today. Flight into this town is only once a week. I am leaving And there is an update for the update. And she said that she made it home and that she hasn't heard from him since, and it's been a week. So good on you, OP, because this story just like I'm out of breath and I'm like trying to figure out like this story just pissed me off. Now, the first comment says relationships really do have to be this way and you deserve so much better. I'm glad to read the updates and also glad to hear that your friends and family are close and support you. A good social circle around can be very helpful and healthy in dating. Sending you a big digital hug after this whole ordeal. And OP replied and said, I really hope this is out of the norm when it comes to relationships because I'm pretty traumatized. OP, there's not there's somebody out there for you, and it's not this guy, obviously. I say definitely stick with therapy, like stay in therapy, don't date for a while and just do you. And you know what? Go out with your friends. Go out with like trustworthy friends, or even just go out with your family, like people that you trust that won't put you in ridiculous situations like this. This man, I have no words. This is terrifying for anybody that this man would act this way. He sounds like he's fresh out of like college, high school, freshman in college, like partying it up like a frat boy. Like this man, how old was he again? He's 37. Sister. I don't know what it is with that generation, but I'm telling you right now, the men, a lot of them, bums. They all bums. Well, most of them, not all of them, but most of the men in that age group. Bums. The second comment says, it only got worse and worse. How awful. I'm so happy to hear he's an ex. And OP replied, I know, right? These comments have really helped me feel better about myself. I was being so manipulated. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gone on the plane. I would have been like, it's brother, ugh. Brother, ugh. Another comment says, what a terrible person. I'm glad you're away from him. And OP replied, me too. The longer I go without a word, the better I start to feel. And I hope this dude remains your forever ex because there ain't no reason why you need to be with that man ever again. He is awful. Screw that guy. And like, no, ma'am. No, 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 no. I just, I can't. That would have sent me over the edge. Like I don't like being around drunk people. I don't like being around people that are on substances. I don't know if I can say the other word on here without getting in trouble, but I don't like it. I don't like it, and I won't be around it. I don't drink. I don't do any hardcore substances. I take Tylenol and I drink oh, by the way, my cute little Love Shack fancy cup. I drink Starbucks and Tazo tea. That helps me stay awake for these long and painful podcast sessions. So now technically you're supposed to put water in here, but I clean mine out every day, so but that is going to be the end of our episode for today. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you give me a like and follow down below. And if you want to have more Yap sessions, if you want a specific story, again, leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. What are your conspiracy theories from our Yap session? And what do you think about these? I'm sure all of these women in these stories, they're probably such beautiful women that have so many things going for them. And you ladies deserve better. Like, I just want you to know you deserve better. You don't deserve to stay. That is not for you. To elevate your life, do something that's for you. I mean, there's so many single mothers out there that have like really great stories, empowering stories. I promise you can do it. I know it's hard. It is not easy raising a kid by yourself alone with no support, nothing. Like it is so hard being a single mother. This is not an easy thing to do, but it's a lot better than you and your child being abused every day. So, I mean, honestly, a divorced home is better than one where a child has to see their mother being abused every day. You know, don't your children are learning from you guys, and the best thing that you can do is just silently try to get yourself out of that situation, you know, as much as you can, because but like I said, there is hotlines and stuff. I'll put some in the description below, and like some websites that, you know, in case anybody needs to go to them, anybody needs them, anybody is going through something similar that we talked about in our stories, just so that you know, like, you guys are not alone. You know, there are people out there who care about you, whether you think there might not be or not. There is always somebody out there who will care about you. We just have to look for the right people. And sometimes they may not be the right people, and they may end up being bad people too. But we just have to keep going, and we have to just, you know what? That shit is just one less thing, and just keep going, you know. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.